The rejection ceremony was supposed to be private, but Marcus made sure the entire pack watched as he severed our mate bond in front of the sacred moonstone, the third man to reject me before the eyes of the goddess herself. I, Marcus Greywood, reject you, Arya Thornwood, as my mate and companion. His voice rang out across the clearing, strong and certain. No hesitation. No regret. The words hit like physical blows. I felt the fragile thread between us, already so thin it barely existed, snap completely. Pain bloomed in my chest, sharp and hot, before fading to the dull ache I'd learned to live with. Around us, pack members whispered and laughed. Someone actually cheered. Can't blame him, a woman muttered loud enough for me to hear. Who'd want to be shackled to a wolfless freak? Marcus stepped back from the moonstone, its silver surface gleaming in the afternoon sun. He looked relieved. Sorry, Arya. But I can't be tied to someone who'll never shift. I need a real mate. Someone who can give me strong pups. 3 months. He'd courted me for 3 months, whispering pretty words and promises. I'd actually believed him. Believed that maybe someone could see past what I lacked. Stupid. Get out of here, Marcus said, not unkindly. Almost pitying, which somehow hurt worse. Go back to your aunt's house. I turned and walked away, keeping my head high even as tears burned behind my eyes. I wouldn't give them the satisfaction of seeing me cry. Not again. 10 years. It had been 10 years since my wolf should have emerged at 15. 10 years of waiting, hoping, praying to the moon goddess for something that never came. My parents had died in a rogue attack when I was 12, both of them strong wolves, respected members of the pack. Everyone said I'd inherited their strength. They were wrong. Instead, I became the pack's favorite target. Ugly. Weak. Cursed. The whispers followed me everywhere. My aunt, who'd taken me in after my parents died, made sure I knew exactly how much of a burden I was. She worked me like a servant, cooking, cleaning, running errands, while her own daughter got to train with the other young wolves. I was 25 now. Old enough that everyone had given up pretending I'd ever shift. I made it back to my aunt's cottage and slipped in through the back door, hoping to avoid her. No such luck. Another rejection? Aunt Meredith stood in the kitchen, arms crossed. She was a hard woman, all sharp angles and sharper words. That's 3, Arya. 3. Do you know how humiliating this is for me? Having a niece that no one wants? I'm sorry. The words came automatically. Sorry doesn't fix anything. She shook her head. The Alpha wants to see you tomorrow. Early. The Alpha King is coming to inspect the pack, and you're to stay out of sight during his visit. We can't have you embarrassing us in front of royalty. My stomach sank. Alpha King Kale Nightshade, everyone had been talking about his tour for weeks. He was visiting packs across the territory to recruit warriors for the war against the rogue wolves threatening our borders. It was an honor to be chosen for his elite forces. An honor I'd never know. I'll stay in my room, I said quietly. No. You'll work the kitchens. We need extra hands to prepare the feast. Just keep your head down and don't draw attention to yourself. She waved me away. Now go. I can't stand to look at you right now. I escaped to my small room under the stairs, barely more than a closet, and finally let the tears fall. The next morning, I was up before dawn, helping prepare food for the king's arrival. The kitchen was chaos, cooks shouting orders, servants rushing back and forth. I kept to the shadows, chopping vegetables and stirring pots. When the Alpha King's motorcade arrived, the entire pack gathered outside to greet him. I watched through the kitchen window as he emerged from a black SUV. Kale Nightshade was nothing like I expected. He was tall, easily 6.5 feet, with broad shoulders and a warrior's build. Dark hair fell to his collar, and even from a distance, I could see the silver of his eyes. He moved with lethal grace, power radiating from every step. This was a man who could kill you without breaking a sweat. Our alpha practically bowed himself in half greeting him. The feast began an hour later. I helped serve, moving between tables with platters of food and pitchers of wine. Invisible, just as I'd been told. The Alpha King sat at the head table with our pack's leadership. He was listening to Alpha Raymond drone on about our pack's history, his expression polite but distant. Bored, maybe. I was refilling wine glasses when it happened. Someone bumped into me from behind, one of the other servants, rushing past. I stumbled forward, the pitcher in my hands tilting. Wine splashed out in a red arc, directly onto the king's white shirt. The entire hall went silent. "I'm so sorry." I grabbed a napkin, frantically trying to dab at the stain, my hands shaking. "I didn't mean, I'm so sorry, Your Majesty, His hand caught my wrist. Gently, but firm enough to stop my panic. I finally looked up at his face. Silver eyes locked with mine. His pupils dilated, black swallowing silver. I watched his chest rise as he inhaled deeply, his whole body going rigid. Mate. The word was barely a whisper, meant only for me. No. That was impossible. I was wolfless. I couldn't have a mate, couldn't feel the mate bond like others could. And certainly not with the Alpha King. But Kale stood slowly, his eyes never leaving mine. Around us, people were starting to murmur, confused. "What is your name?" His voice was deeper now, rough. Arya. Arya Thornwood, Your Majesty. Arya. He said it like a prayer. Like a promise. Then, louder, addressing the entire hall, "This woman is my destined mate." Gasps echoed through the room. I heard my aunt's shocked cry. Saw Marcus's jaw drop. "Your Majesty," Alpha Raymond sputtered, "surely there's been a mistake. This girl is wolfless. She can't possibly. Are you questioning what the moon goddess has ordained?" Kale's voice went cold, dangerous. Raymond immediately backed down. Kale turned back to me, his expression softening. "Arya. Do you accept this bond?" I couldn't speak. Couldn't think. This had to be a dream. A cruel joke. But his eyes were so sincere. So certain. "Yes," I whispered. Kale smiled then, a real smile that transformed his harsh features into something almost beautiful. He pulled me closer, tilting my head to expose my neck. I felt his breath against my skin. "This will hurt," he murmured. But only for a moment. Then his teeth sank into the junction of my neck and shoulder. Pain exploded through me, white-hot and searing. I cried out, my knees buckling. But beneath the pain was something else, something wild and ancient stirring inside me. Heat flooded my veins, racing through every nerve. And then I heard it. A voice. Clear and strong in my mind, where there had only ever been silence. Finally. My wolf. After 10 years of nothing, my wolf was speaking to me. Kale released me, his tongue running over the mark to seal it. I felt his satisfaction through our new bond, and beneath that, fierce protectiveness. "You're mine now," he said softly. "No one will hurt you again." I touched my neck, feeling the raised skin where his mark had settled. My fingers came away clean, but I could feel it burning, not painfully, but with an intensity that thrummed through my entire body. Someone brought me a glass of water. I caught my reflection in the window behind Kale's chair as I drank. And froze. My face was changing. Right there, in the wavering reflection, I watched as my features shifted. My cheekbones rose, becoming more defined. My lips, always thin, grew fuller. Even my dull brown hair seemed to shine brighter, catching light like polished mahogany. It was subtle. But it was there. "They sealed me away," my wolf whispered in my mind, her voice laced with rage. "Used dark magic to bind me, to make you weak. To make them think you were nothing." What? I breathed aloud. Now they'll pay, she continued, her words a growl. We'll make them all pay for what they stole from us. I looked up at Cale. He was watching me with those silver eyes, seeing the changes too. Understanding dawning on his face. Someone cursed you, he said. It wasn't a question. I didn't know how to answer. Didn't know what this meant. But standing there, with the Alpha King's mark burning on my neck and my wolf finally awake inside me, I knew one thing with absolute certainty. Everything was about to change. Chapter 2. Pack your things, Cale said, his hand still resting protectively on my marked shoulder. We leave within the hour. I blinked up at him, my mind still reeling. Leave? But You're my mate now. You belong with me at the royal palace. His tone left no room for argument. He turned to Alpha Raymond, who looked like he'd swallowed something sour. Prepare a room for my mate to gather her belongings. And I want a full accounting of how a member of this pack came to be cursed with dark magic. The color drained from Raymond's face. Cursed? Your Majesty, I assure you, we had no knowledge. Then you're incompetent. Either way, I'll be conducting an investigation. Cale's silver eyes swept the silent hall. If I discover anyone in this pack knew about this and did nothing, there will be consequences. My aunt stepped forward, and I noticed her hands were shaking. Your Majesty, surely there's been some misunderstanding. Arya has always been wolfless. It's simply bad luck, not. Bad luck doesn't change someone's appearance when a mate bond is formed, Cale interrupted coldly. Bad luck doesn't seal a wolf away for 10 years. Someone did this deliberately. Aunt Meredith's face went white. Actually white. And in her eyes, I saw something I'd never seen before when she looked at me. Fear. She knew something. The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. All these years, all her cruelty, she'd known. Arya. Cale's voice softened when he spoke to me. Go pack. Take only what matters to you. Everything else you need will be provided. I nodded numbly and headed for the door. As I passed my aunt, I heard Luna's voice in my mind, sharp and angry. She helped them. I can smell it on her, the same dark magic that bound me. She was part of this. I stumbled but kept walking. My aunt had helped seal away my wolf. My own family? Arya, wait, Aunt Meredith grabbed my arm. I yanked away from her touch, and power surged through me. Actual power. My aunt gasped and fell back a step, as if I'd pushed her. Don't, I said quietly. Don't touch me. Don't speak to me. You don't understand. You're right. I don't understand how you could do this to me. My voice shook. But I'm going to find out. I left her standing there and climbed the stairs to my tiny room for the last time. I had almost nothing to pack. A few clothes, a photograph of my parents, and a small wooden wolf my father had carved for me when I was a child. Everything fit in a single worn backpack. When I came back downstairs, Cale was waiting by the door. He'd changed into a clean shirt, though I could still see the faint wine stain on his collar. Something about that made this feel real. Ready? He asked. I don't know, I admitted. He studied my face for a moment, then offered his hand. You're safe now. I promise you that. I took his hand. His fingers closed around mine, warm and solid. The pack had gathered outside to see us off, or more accurately, to gawk. I kept my head up as we walked to his SUV, even when I heard the whispers. Did you see her face? She looks completely different. How is this possible? Marcus stood near the back of the crowd, staring at me like he'd never seen me before. I met his eyes briefly and felt nothing. No pain, no longing. Whatever I'd felt for him was gone, burned away by Cale's mark. As we drove away, I watched my pack, my former pack, disappear in the side mirror. I'd spent my whole life there. And I felt nothing but relief to leave. Tell me about your parents, Kale said after we'd been driving for 20 minutes. I pulled my gaze from the window. They died when I was 12. Rogue attack. At least, that's what I was told. You don't believe it? I touched my neck where his mark still burned pleasantly. My wolf, Luna, she says they were murdered. That someone used dark magic to seal her away and hide who I really am. I laughed, but it came out bitter. I don't even know what that means. Hide me from what? Kale's hands tightened on the steering wheel. What else has your wolf told you? Tell him, Luna urged. He needs to know. She says we come from an ancient bloodline. One that was supposed to be extinct. I waited for him to laugh or call me crazy. Instead, he nodded slowly. That would explain the scent. What scent? When I first caught your scent in that hall, before the wine. He paused, choosing his words carefully. It wasn't just the mate bond. There was something else. Something old and powerful. I thought I was imagining it, that maybe the bond was affecting my senses. But you weren't imagining it. No. I wasn't. He glanced at me. Do you know what bloodline Luna means? I shook my head. There were rumors, centuries ago, of a wolf line descended directly from the first moon, the original wolf created by the moon goddess herself. They were supposed to have silver fur and abilities beyond normal wolves. Strength, speed, magic. He paused. They were also supposed to be incredibly dangerous. Most were hunted down and killed by fearful alphas who saw them as threats to their power. My stomach twisted. You think that's what I am? I think someone believed you were. Believed it enough to murder your parents and curse you to hide what you are. The weight of that settled over me. My parents. Dead because of what they were. What I was. I'm sorry, Kale said softly. I know this is a lot to process. Why did you really mark me? The question burst out before I could stop it. Was it just the mate bond? Or is it because of this prophecy you mentioned? He was quiet for a long moment. Too long. Both, he finally said. The moment I saw you, I felt the bond. That's real, Arya. But yes, I also recognized what you might be. What the prophecy spoke of. At least he was honest. That was something. Tell me about this prophecy. A war is coming. The rogue king, his name is Mordecai, has been building an army in the Shadowlands. He commands shadow wolves, creatures twisted by dark magic. Regular wolves can't fight them effectively. They're too strong, too fast. Kale's jaw tightened. According to an ancient text, only a lost daughter of the first moon can defeat him. Someone from that original bloodline. So you need me to fight your war. I need you to help save our people, he corrected. But Arya, even without the prophecy, I would have claimed you. You're my mate. That bond is sacred. I wanted to believe him. But how could I know if what he felt was real or just destiny pushing us together? He speaks truth, Luna said. I can feel his wolf. The bond between us is genuine. That should have comforted me. It didn't quite manage it. We drove for hours. As the sun began to set, I felt strange. My skin was too tight, stretched over bones that ached. I shifted in my seat, uncomfortable. Arya? Kale's voice was sharp with concern. I'm fine. Just. I looked down at my hands and gasped. My fingers were longer. More elegant. And my skin, the rough, work-worn texture was smoothing out, becoming pale and flawless. The glamour is breaking down, Kale said. The curse that hid your appearance. I pulled down the sun visor to look in the small mirror. The face staring back at me was mine, but not. My features were shifting, refining. My eyes, always a muddy brown, were lightening to amber gold. My hair fell in thick waves, no longer dull but rich and dark. I was becoming beautiful. Hauntingly so. Is this really me? I whispered. This is who you were always meant to be, Luna said fiercely. They stole this from us. Stole our strength, our power, our very face. Made us invisible. Rage bubbled up inside me. 10 years. 10 years of being called ugly, being rejected, being made to feel worthless. And it had all been a lie. A cruel, deliberate lie. Who did this? My voice came out harder than I'd ever heard it. Who cursed me? We'll find out, Kale promised. I have the best investigators in the kingdom. We'll uncover the truth. By the time we reached the royal palace, I barely recognized myself. The palace was massive, a sprawling complex of white stone and silver towers that glowed in the moonlight. Guards stood at attention as we passed through the gates. Home, Kale said, though his tone was complicated. He led me inside through corridors lined with portraits of past kings and queens. Servants stopped to stare as we passed. I heard their whispers. Is that the king's mate? She's beautiful. I heard she was wolfless. We entered a grand hall where several people waited. They all turned as we approached, and the temperature in the room seemed to drop. Your Majesty, an older man with gray hair bowed stiffly. We received word of your unexpected mating. Lord Chancellor Everett, may I present Arya Thornwood, my mate and your future queen. Kale's hand pressed against my lower back, supportive. Everett's eyes swept over me, cold and assessing. A pleasure. Though I must express concern about such a hasty decision. My mate bond is not a decision, Chancellor. It's a gift from the moon goddess. Kale's voice held warning. Of course, Your Majesty. But there are political considerations. Alliances that were being negotiated are no longer relevant. A woman stepped forward, and I immediately understood who she was. Lady Seraphina. She was stunning, tall and athletic with flowing red hair and sharp green eyes. Power radiated from her. This was an alpha female, strong and confident. And she looked at me like I was an insect to be crushed. Your Majesty, her voice was silk over steel. Surely you can't mean to make this girl your queen. She has no training, no political connections, and, her lip curled slightly, until recently, no wolf at all. How can she possibly stand beside you? Careful, Seraphina, Kale said softly. That's my mate you're insulting. I'm merely stating facts. But she stepped back, recognizing the danger in his tone. She wants him, Luna growled. She expected to be queen. We're in her way. I lifted my chin, meeting Seraphina's glare. I may be new to this world, Lady Seraphina, but I learn quickly. And I'm stronger than I look. Her laugh was cold. We'll see. The meeting dissolved into awkward tension. Kale's advisors excused themselves, though their disapproval hung in the air. Seraphina left last, her eyes promising future conflict. That went well, I muttered. Kale almost smiled. You handled yourself perfectly. Seraphina respects strength. You showed her you won't be intimidated. I'm not sure I actually handled anything. I'm completely out of my depth here. You'll adapt. He guided me toward a staircase. Come. I'll show you to your rooms. You need rest. My rooms? Not yours? He paused, his expression unreadable. The mate bond is new. You've been through trauma. I won't push you into anything you're not ready for. Part of me was grateful. Another part felt oddly rejected. He's giving us space to adjust, Luna said. It's respectful. My room was a suite, actually, bigger than my aunt's entire house. A massive bed dominated one wall, covered in soft furs. Windows overlooked gardens bathed in moonlight. I'll be just down the hall if you need anything, Kale said. Tomorrow, we'll begin your training. Both political and physical. If you're to be queen, you need to know how to fight and how to rule. And this prophecy? This war? We'll discuss it all tomorrow. For now, rest. He hesitated, then leaned down and pressed a gentle kiss to my forehead. Sleep well, mate. After he left, I stood at the window, looking out at the unfamiliar landscape. Everything had changed in less than a day. I'd gone from rejected Wolfless Omega to the king's mate. To possibly the most powerful wolf alive, according to Luna. You need to shift, Luna said suddenly. The seal is broken, but we need to complete our transformation. To become whole again. Now. The moon is full. It's the perfect time. And we need to know what we truly are. She was right. I could feel it building inside me, pressure, power, something wild demanding release. I stripped off my clothes and walked out onto the private balcony. The moon hung huge and silver above me, and I felt its pull in my bones. Okay, I whispered. Show me who we are. The shift came fast and brutal. My bones cracked and reformed. My spine curved. Fur erupted across my skin. I bit back a scream as pain tore through every nerve. But beneath the pain was exhilaration. Power. Strength flooding my limbs. When it was over, I stood on 4 legs instead of 2. I could see better, smell better, hear better. Everything was sharper, clearer. I looked down at my paws and froze. Silver. Pure, gleaming silver fur covered my entire body. Not gray, not white, actual silver that seemed to glow in the moonlight. We are what they feared, Luna said, her voice filled with savage satisfaction. We are the lost bloodline. And now everyone will know it. A sound made me turn. Kale stood in the doorway, having rushed back at the sound of my transformation. He stared at me, his eyes wide. Arya, he breathed. Do you know what this means? I shifted back to human form, grateful that the shift was easier in reverse. I grabbed a robe from inside. Tell me. Silver wolves haven't been seen in over 5 centuries. According to ancient pack law, a silver wolf can challenge any alpha for their position. Including me. He stepped closer. You could challenge me for the throne. I laughed, though it sounded slightly hysterical. I don't want your throne, Kale. Maybe not. But others will see you as a threat. Or as an opportunity. His expression was serious. Everything just became much more dangerous for you. A knock at the door interrupted us. A servant stood there, holding a silver tray with a single envelope. This just arrived for Lady Arya, Your Majesty. It was left at the gates with specific instructions to deliver it tonight. Kale took the envelope, frowning. He handed it to me. Do you recognize the seal? I turned it over. There was no seal, just my name written in elegant script. Familiar script. My hands shook as I tore it open. Inside was a single piece of paper with 2 words written in the same handwriting. I'm watching. The paper fell from my fingers. What is it? Kale demanded. I couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. Because I knew that handwriting. Had seen it 1,000 times on birthday cards, on notes left in my lunch, on the labels of preserves in our cellar. It's my mother's handwriting, I whispered. But that's impossible. My mother is dead. Kale picked up the paper, his face grim. Either someone is playing a very cruel trick on you. Or my mother is alive, I finished. And she's been watching me this whole time. She let them seal me away, Luna snarled. Let them make us suffer for 10 years. If she's alive, she abandoned us. Or she'd been protecting me from something worse. I looked at Kale, at the letter, at the silver fur still clinging to my robe. Everything I thought I knew about my life was a lie. And somewhere out there, someone who should be dead was watching. Waiting. The question was, were they friend or enemy? Chapter 3. The morning after the letter arrived, Kale announced I would begin training immediately. You have power, he said over breakfast in his private dining room. But power without control is dangerous. To yourself and others. I pushed eggs around my plate, barely tasting them. I hadn't slept. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw my mother's handwriting. I'm watching. Arya. Kale's hand covered mine. I know you're shaken. But we need to prepare you. The Rogue King won't wait for you to be ready. He was right. I knew he was right. But everything felt wrong, like the ground kept shifting under my feet. Who will train me? I asked. The best warrior I have. Kale's expression was carefully neutral. He arrived this morning from the Northern Territories. He's. The door opened. And Marcus walked in. I froze, fork halfway to my mouth. He looked the same, sandy hair, broad shoulders, that easy confidence. Except now when he looked at me, his eyes widened with shock. Arya? He breathed my name like a prayer. Moon goddess, what happened to you? He can see us now, Luna snarled. Now that we're beautiful, now that we're powerful, suddenly he's interested. Marcus is captain of my elite guard, Kale said, his tone clipped. He's been stationed in the north for the past 6 months. I requested his transfer yesterday. You didn't tell me it was him, I said quietly. Would you have refused if I had? Maybe. Probably. I looked at Marcus, at the man who'd rejected me in front of the entire pack just days ago. Why are you here? I volunteered, Marcus said, still staring at me like I was a ghost. When I heard the king had found his mate, that she was from Silverpine Pack. He stepped closer. Arya, I need to explain what happened. I need you to understand. No. I stood abruptly. You don't get to explain. You rejected me, Marcus. In front of everyone. You called me a wolfless freak. I was spelled. The words burst out desperately. Someone used magic on me, on all of us. To make us reject you, to make us see you as weak and ugly when you were never either of those things. I laughed, but it was brittle. That's convenient. It's true. He looked at Kale. Your Majesty, I swear on my honor as a warrior. Someone in Silverpine used dark magic to cloud our judgment. To make Arya invisible to us. Kale studied him for a long moment. It's possible. The same magic that sealed her wolf could have extended to perception manipulation. So what? I demanded. Even if that's true, it doesn't change anything. You rejected me. 3 of you rejected me. My voice cracked. Do you know what that did to me? I know. Marcus's eyes were anguished. And I'll spend my life making it up to you if you'll let me. Arya, I loved you. I love you. I always have, but I couldn't see it through the spell. She's my mate, Kale said, his voice dropping to something dangerous. She wears my mark. Whatever you felt for her is irrelevant. Is it? Marcus turned to him. Your Majesty, with respect, the mate bond can be broken. If Arya chooses. She won't. Kale rose to his feet, and power rolled off him in waves. His wolf was close to the surface, possessive and aggressive. Touch her, even suggest taking her from me again, and you'll discover exactly how far I'll go to keep what's mine. The air between them crackled with tension. 2 alpha wolves, bristling and ready to fight. Stop, I said. Both of you, just stop. They both looked at me. Marcus, you rejected me. Spelled or not, you did it. And I've moved on. I touched the mark on my neck. I'm Kale's mate now. That's done. Something in Marcus's expression crumpled. I understand. But Arya, please, let me prove myself to you. Let me show you that I'm worthy of at least your forgiveness, if not your love. I didn't know what to say to that. Didn't know if I could forgive him. Train her, Kale ordered. That's why you're here. Keep your feelings to yourself and do your job. Marcus bowed stiffly. Yes, Your Majesty. Training was brutal. Marcus worked me hard, combat forms, weapons training, learning to shift quickly and efficiently. My silver wolf was faster and stronger than any normal wolf, but I had no experience. No muscle memory. I was clumsy and uncoordinated. Again, Marcus barked as I fell for the 10th time. I growled, frustration bubbling over. I'm trying. Try harder. The enemy won't give you breaks. But his expression softened slightly. You're doing well for someone who's only shifted once. Most wolves train for years. We were in the palace training grounds, a wide courtyard surrounded by high walls. Other warriors trained nearby, shooting us curious glances. The king's mysterious mate, sparring with the captain of the guard. Why did you really volunteer for this? I asked during a water break. Marcus was quiet for a moment. Because I owe you. And because. He met my eyes. Because even if I can't have you, I need to know you're safe. That you can protect yourself. That's not your responsibility. Maybe not. But I'm making it my responsibility anyway. He handed me a towel. Arya, I know you don't believe me about the spell. But I swear to you, what I feel is real. What I've always felt is real. Before I could respond, a melodious voice interrupted. How touching. Lady Seraphina stood at the edge of the courtyard, stunning in a green dress that matched her eyes. She carried a silver tray with a crystal decanter and glasses. Lady Seraphina, Marcus bowed. She ignored him, focusing on me. You look exhausted, Lady Arya. I thought you might appreciate some refreshment. She poured a glass of amber liquid. It's a special blend, honey wine with healing herbs. It will help with muscle fatigue. I hesitated. After her hostility yesterday, this sudden kindness felt wrong. That's very thoughtful, I said carefully. Well, we did get off on the wrong foot. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. If you're to be queen, should support you, not undermine you. Consider this a peace offering. Don't trust her, Luna warned. But refusing would be an insult. And maybe I was being paranoid. I took the glass and sipped. The wine was sweet, with an herbal undertone. Not unpleasant. Thank you, Lady Seraphina. Please, call me Sarah. All my friends do. She poured a glass for Marcus. Captain, you look thirsty as well. We drank while Seraphina made pleasant small talk about the weather and upcoming court events. Within minutes, warmth spread through my limbs. The fatigue from training melted away. See? Feeling better already. Seraphina smiled. I'll leave you to your training. Until tonight's dinner, Lady Arya. After she left, Marcus frowned. That was odd. What? Seraphina being nice. It's not like her. He shook his head. Probably just wants to get in the king's good graces by befriending you. We resumed training. But as the afternoon wore on, I started feeling strange. Dizzy. My limbs grew heavy. Arya? Marcus's voice sounded distant. Are you all right? I tried to answer, but my tongue wouldn't work. The courtyard spun. I fell to my knees, gasping. Arya. Marcus caught me as I collapsed. Guards. Get the healer, now. The world went dark. Fever consumed me. I was burning from the inside out, my body fighting something toxic in my veins. Voices swirled around me, Kale shouting orders, healers arguing, Marcus's frantic apologies. But deeper than the fever, visions gripped me. I was 12 years old again, small and helpless. But I wasn't in my body, I was watching, a ghost observing the past. My parents' bedroom. My father, tall and strong, arguing with someone at the door. You can't hide her forever, Thomas, a woman's voice said. They know what she is. What she could become. She's a child. My father roared. I won't let them hurt my daughter. Then you'll both die. The door burst open. Wolves poured in, 6, 7, too many to count. My father shifted, his wolf form massive and silver. Just like mine. He fought like a demon. But there were too many. My mother was screaming, pulling me out of bed, trying to get me to the window. But a blade flashed. Red bloomed across her chest. She fell. No. My father's human voice, anguished. He shifted back, cradling her. Elena, no, please. Another blade. This one took him in the back. They fell together, my parents, blood pooling beneath them. And standing over their bodies, holding a knife slick with red, was my aunt. Aunt Meredith, her face cold and emotionless. It's done, she said to the shadows. A figure stepped forward. I couldn't see his face, but his voice was smooth and cultured. Good. Seal the girl's wolf and glamour her appearance. Make her forgettable. Make her nothing. And my payment? Your life. Be grateful I'm letting you live, considering your sister almost ruined everything. Aunt Meredith nodded and turned to where I was hiding. Her hands began to glow with sickly purple light. I woke screaming. Arya. Kale was beside me, his face haggard. Thank the goddess. You've been unconscious for 2 days. 2 days. The wine, I croaked. Serafina. We know. Wolfsbane mixed with shadow poison. Meant to kill you slowly. His hands were shaking as he brushed hair from my face. The healers barely saved you. Where is she? In the dungeons. But Arya, she's not talking. Claims she acted alone, that she was jealous. His jaw clenched. I don't believe her. It wasn't just jealousy. I struggled to sit up. My body felt weak, wrung out. Kale, I had visions. I saw my parents die. I saw who killed them. His eyes widened. Who? My aunt. She wielded the blade. But she wasn't alone, someone else was giving orders. A man, from the royal court. I gripped his hand. Kale, my parents were murdered because of what I am. Because I'm a silver wolf. Tell me everything. I recounted the vision in detail. By the time I finished, Kale's expression was carved from stone. We're going to Silverpine, he said. Now. Your aunt is going to tell us everything, even if I have to rip the truth from her mind. We left within the hour, a full escort of guards surrounding us. Marcus rode beside the carriage, his face grim. He blamed himself for not catching the poison sooner. My former pack was gathered when we arrived, summoned by Kale's order. They stared at me with a mixture of fear and awe. I looked nothing like the girl who'd left days ago. Bring me Meredith Thornwood, Kale commanded. Alpha Raymond himself dragged her forward. My aunt looked smaller than I remembered, diminished. When she saw me, her face went white. You survived, she whispered. No thanks to you. I stepped forward. I know what you did. I saw it. You killed my parents. Gasps rippled through the crowd. My aunt shook her head frantically. No, you don't understand. Then make me understand. I shouted. You murdered them. You sealed my wolf. You made me suffer for 10 years. Why? I didn't have a choice. Tears streamed down her face. They would have killed me too. Killed my daughter. I had to. Who? Kale's voice was ice. Who threatened you? I don't know his name. He always wore shadows, hid his face. But he was from the royal court. High-ranking. He said. She sobbed. He said Elena was the previous Alpha King's sister. That made Arya royal blood. Her father was a silver wolf, the last one alive. Together, they created the first silver wolf in generations. A child who could become the most powerful alpha in history. My breath caught. My mother was royalty. I was royalty. The conspiracy wanted her dead, Aunt Meredith continued. They said a silver wolf couldn't be controlled. That if she grew into her power, she could challenge anyone for their position, could unite all the packs under her rule or destroy them. They couldn't allow that. But they didn't kill her, Kale said. They sealed her instead. Why? The moon goddess's blessing. Silver wolves are sacred. Killing one brings a curse on the murderer and their entire bloodline. So they did something worse, they made her nothing. Took away her power, her beauty, her future. Made her invisible and helpless. Her voice broke. I agreed because I was terrified. And because some part of me believed them. Believed Arya was too dangerous to exist. She feared us, Luna snarled. Good. She should. Who was the mastermind? Kale demanded. Give me a name. I only met him once. But I saw his signet ring, a raven clutching a sword. That's all I know, I swear. Kale went very still. Lord Raven. Your advisor? I looked at him. The gray-haired man from yesterday? My most trusted advisor. He's been with my family since my father's reign. But doubt flickered in Kale's eyes. A raven clutching a sword is his family crest. Then we confront him, I said. We rode hard back to the capital, leaving my aunt under guard. The entire journey, Kale was silent, his face a mask. I could feel his turmoil through our bond. Lord Raven had his chambers in the palace's east wing. We found his door ajar. My lord? Kale pushed it open. The smell hit us first. Copper and decay. Lord Raven lay on the floor in a pool of blood. His eyes were open, staring at nothing. And burned into his forehead was a mark, a crescent moon dripping shadow. Shadow magic, Marcus breathed. The Rogue King's calling card. Kale knelt beside his advisor's body, his expression unreadable. He's been dead for hours. Since before we left for Silverpine. So he couldn't have been giving orders yesterday, I said. Someone else is behind this. Or the Rogue King is tying up loose ends. Kale stood. Raven was part of the conspiracy, but not the leader. Someone higher is pulling the strings. A piece of paper lay clutched in the dead man's hand. Kale pried it free. Written in blood were 3 words, the king knows. Knows what? I asked. Kale's face had gone pale. He looked at me, and in his eyes I saw guilt. Fear. Arya, there's something I need to tell you. My stomach dropped. What? Not here. He glanced at Marcus. Secure this room. Let no one in. We're going somewhere private. He led me to his personal study, locked the door behind us. Then he poured himself a drink with shaking hands. Kale, you're scaring me. I should. He downed the liquor in one gulp. I told you I recognized you from the prophecy. That I marked you partly because of it. Yes. But I didn't tell you why I was so desperate to find the silver wolf. Why I needed you. He turned to face me. Arya, I'm dying. The words hit like a physical blow. What? 3 years ago, I was cursed. Shadow magic, same as what killed Raven. It's slowly consuming me from the inside. Every healer, every witch, every magic user I've consulted says the same thing, there's no cure. I have maybe a year left, 2 if I'm lucky. I don't understand. You look fine, you seem. I hide it well. But the pain is constant. And it's getting worse. He set down the glass. The prophecy didn't just speak of a silver wolf defeating the Rogue King. It said a silver wolf's mate bond could break any curse, could heal any darkness. I knew if I found you and marked you, you'd save my life. The truth settled over me like a shroud. So when you marked me, it wasn't just the mate bond. You did it to cure yourself. Yes. His voice was barely a whisper. I manipulated you, Arya. I used you. And I'm not even sorry because it's working. Since I marked you, the curse has weakened. I can feel it retreating. You used me. I couldn't breathe. You let me think, let me believe that you chose me for me. But I was just medicine. A cure. No. I mean, yes, but, he reached for me. Arya, I swear, it started that way. But I've fallen in love with you. Genuinely. The mate bond is real, what I feel is real. How am I supposed to believe that? Tears burned my eyes. How do I know anything you say is true? You've been lying from the beginning. I know. And I hate myself for it. But please, you have to understand. An explosion rocked the palace. The windows shattered. Alarms began to wail. Through the broken glass, I saw smoke rising from the southern wall. We're under attack, Kale said, already moving. Shadow wolves. We ran into chaos. Wolves, twisted, wrong things with red eyes and smoke pouring from their fur, poured through breaches in the walls. Palace guards fought desperately, but the shadow wolves were too strong, too fast. Get to the safe room. Kale ordered, shifting into his massive black wolf form. But before I could move, something hit me from behind. Pain exploded through my skull. I fell, vision swimming. When I looked up, I was surrounded. 5 shadow wolves circled me, snarling. And walking through the smoke toward me was a figure in a black cloak. The Silver Wolf, a male voice said. Finally. You've been difficult to acquire, child. He reached up and pulled back his hood. I stopped breathing. The face looking back at me was older, scarred, harder than the pictures I'd seen. But I knew it. Had seen it every day of my childhood in the portrait above our fireplace. Hello, Arya, my father said. I've been waiting a long time to meet you again. You're dead, I whispered. I saw you die. I saw. You saw what the conspirators wanted you to see. An illusion. He smiled, but it was cold. Empty. I'm very much alive. And I've come to take you home. You're the Rogue King. I prefer my old title. Silver Alpha. He stepped closer. Your mother is waiting for you. We have so much to discuss about your destiny. My mother is dead. You both are. But even as I said it, doubt crept in. The letter. I'm watching. Come quietly, daughter. I'd rather not hurt you, but I will if necessary. Arya. Kale's voice, distant. He was fighting toward me, but too many shadow wolves blocked his path. My father gestured. The shadow wolves moved in. I tried to shift, to fight, but something slammed into my mind, dark magic, overwhelming and absolute. My vision blurred. My legs gave out. The last thing I saw before unconsciousness took me was my father's face, impassive as stone, as his shadow wolves dragged me away into the smoke. And Kale, screaming my name, unable to reach me. Then darkness. Chapter 4. I woke to the smell of smoke and pine. My head throbbed where I'd been struck. When I tried to move, I found my wrists bound with silver chains, not pure silver, which would burn, but an alloy designed to suppress wolf abilities. You're awake. My father sat across from me in a rough-hewn wooden chair. We were in some kind of cabin, sparse and functional. Through the window, I saw dozens of similar structures scattered through a dense forest. The rogue stronghold. Let me go, I said, my voice hoarse. Soon. After we talk. He leaned forward, and I could see the scars now, crisscrossing his face, disappearing beneath his collar. Whatever had happened to him after that night hadn't been kind. You look like her. Like Elena. Same eyes. Don't. The word came out sharp. You don't get to talk about her. You left me. Let me think you were dead while I suffered for 10 years. I had no choice. His voice was flat, emotionless. They hunted us, Arya. Your mother's family, the royal line. They wanted us dead because of what you were, what you could become. We were supposed to die together that night. My aunt said. Your aunt was a pawn. A coward who chose her own life over her sister's. His hands clenched. The real murderer was Kale's father, the previous Alpha King. He ordered the assassination personally. My stomach twisted. You're lying. Am I? He stood and pulled a leather folder from a shelf. Inside were documents, letters bearing the royal seal, orders signed in King Aldrich Nightshade's hand. I read them with growing horror. The silver bloodline must be eliminated. Kill Thomas Thornwood and his mate. Take the child if she shows signs of power, dispose of her if she doesn't. Under no circumstances can a silver wolf be allowed to reach maturity. The prophecy cannot be fulfilled. Kale's father, I whispered. But Kale didn't know. He couldn't have. He's his father's son. Royal blood. Do you think he doesn't know what his family has done? What they continue to do? Demon's voice hardened. He found you because of the prophecy, marked you to use you. You said so yourself. He's been lying from the start. It's not that simple. Isn't it? He knelt before me, and for the first time I saw emotion in his eyes, pain, anger, grief. They murdered your mother, Arya. Murdered her and tried to murder you. The entire royal pack system is corrupt, built on the bones of wolves like us. Wolves with power they can't control, so they eliminate us. So you became the rogue king. Started a war. I'm building something new. A pack structure where power doesn't mean tyranny. Where silver wolves aren't hunted. He touched the chains on my wrists. Join me. Help me tear down the old system. We can create something better together. He speaks some truth, Luna said quietly in my mind. But not all of it. Something is wrong here. And if I refuse? Then you stay chained until you see reason. I won't let them take you again, Arya. I won't lose you twice. He left me alone in the cabin, guards posted outside. I tested the chains, but they held firm. Through our mate bond, I could feel Kale, distant, frantic, in pain. The separation was hurting him. It was hurting me too. A constant ache in my chest that grew worse with each passing hour. The mark needs proximity, Luna explained. Too long apart and it will damage us both. Can you break these chains? Not yet. They're spelled. But I'm working on it. Hours passed. My father returned with food, simple but filling. He sat and watched me eat. Tell me about her, I said finally. My mother. What was she really like? His expression softened fractionally. Strong. Brilliant. She had a laugh that could fill a room. He was quiet for a moment. She fought like a demon the night they came for us. Took down 4 assassins before they overwhelmed her. With her dying breath, she made me promise to protect you. So you let them seal my wolf and abandon me with a woman who hated me. I had to disappear. They would have killed you if they knew I was alive, knew you mattered to me. I watched from the shadows, waiting until you were strong enough to survive what was coming. His jaw clenched. And I hunted. Every wolf who participated in your mother's murder, I found them. Made them pay. Revenge won't bring her back. No. But justice might give her peace. He stood. Think about what I've offered. You have power, Arya. The question is, will you use it to maintain the system that destroyed our family, or to build something new? After he left, I sat in the growing darkness and tried to think through the pain of separation from Kale. Meanwhile, at the royal palace, Kale was losing his mind. I felt it through our bond, his desperation, his rage. He'd mobilized every pack, sent warriors in every direction searching for me. And with each hour I was gone, the curse was returning, eating him from the inside. What I didn't know yet was that Serafina was circling like a vulture. 3 days into my captivity, Marcus appeared. I was being moved to a different cabin when I saw him among the rogue warriors. Our eyes met. He gave the slightest shake of his head, a warning. That night, he picked the lock on my door. "Arya," he whispered. "We need to go. Now." "Marcus? What are you? You're working with them." "I'm undercover. Have been for months." He worked quickly on my chains. "I've been investigating the conspiracy that killed your parents. The trail led me here. You're a spy. For Kale. He sent me north 6 months ago to infiltrate the rogues." The chains fell away. "But Arya, it's worse than we thought. Your father isn't the real enemy. There's a third faction." Footsteps outside. Marcus cursed and shoved me toward the window. "Go. Run south. I'll cover you. I'm not leaving without answers." The door burst open. Rogue warriors flooded in. Marcus shifted and fought, but there were too many. My father walked in calmly. Marcus Greywood. Or should I say, captain of the King's intelligence network. He looked at me. "Did you really think I didn't know?" "Don't hurt him," I said. "Why would I? He's more useful alive." Demon gestured. The warriors dragged Marcus away. "As for you, daughter, I think it's time you saw what you're truly capable of." He took me to a training ground where rogue warriors were assembled. Hundreds of them, watching. "Show them," Demon commanded. "Show them your wolf." "No. Then I'll have Marcus executed." Slowly. "We need to shift anyway," Luna said. "The chains suppressed us too long. I'm suffocating in here." I looked at my father's impassive face, at the assembled warriors. Fine. If he wanted to see what I was, I'd show him. I shifted. The transformation was faster this time, smoother. My silver wolf emerged in a burst of power that sent warriors stumbling back. I was larger than I'd been during my first shift, more solid. More real. And I was furious. A low growl rumbled from my chest. One of the nearby warriors whimpered and dropped to his belly, submitting instinctively. Then another. And another. Within moments, every wolf in the training ground, except my father, was on the ground, heads down, throats exposed. Submitting to me without conscious thought. "They can't help it," Luna said with satisfaction. "We are silver. We are dominance made flesh. They submit or they die." "Stop," I commanded aloud, my wolf's voice carrying power. "Stand up." They obeyed immediately. Not because they chose to, but because I'd told them to. I could feel the threads connecting me to each wolf, invisible lines of command and control. I could make them do anything. The realization was terrifying. I shifted back to human form, breathing hard. A rogue offered me clothes wordlessly, head still bowed. "Now you understand," my father said. He hadn't submitted, but I could see the strain on his face. He'd fought my dominance, but it had cost him. This is why they fear us. Why they tried to kill you. With this power, you could command every wolf in the kingdom. "This is wrong," I whispered. "No one should have this much control over others." "Wrong? It's natural. You're the apex predator." He moved closer. "The royal pack's control through politics and intimidation. You could control through pure dominance. Think of what we could accomplish." "I don't want to control anyone." "Then you're a fool." But there was something like respect in his eyes. Or perhaps braver than I gave you credit for. Over the following days, I pieced together information from conversations I overheard, from things Marcus told me in snatched moments, from my father's careful revelations. The truth was more complex than either side had told me. My parents hadn't been killed solely by the royal pack. They'd been killed by something else, a secret society that operated in the shadows, manipulating both royals and rogues. Keeping them at war, feeding the conflict. The Shadow Court. They'd orchestrated my parents' deaths because a unified pack system threatened their power. They'd cursed Cale to ensure he'd be desperate enough to do anything, including marking me without full consent, to create division when the truth came out. They'd positioned Serafina as a backup plan. And they'd even manipulated my father, feeding him intelligence, guiding his rage toward the royals while hiding their own involvement. They've been playing us all, I told Marcus during one of our secret meetings. Turning us against each other. I know. I've been trying to find proof, but they're careful. They cover their tracks. He looked exhausted. Arya, there's something else. News from the capital. What? Serafina has staged a coup. She's claiming Cale is unfit to rule because of his curse. She's declared herself interim queen and... He swallowed hard. She's claiming to carry Cale's heir. The words hit like a punch. That's impossible. He never. It's a lie. But she has supporters, powerful ones. She's been purging anyone loyal to Cale. Imprisoning them. Executing some. His expression was grim. Cale's in her dungeons. She's planning a public execution in 3 days. 3 days. I felt Cale through the bond, weak, fading. The curse was consuming him without me near. If I didn't get back soon, he'd die. My father found me an hour later, standing at the edge of the stronghold looking toward the distant capital. You've heard, he said. You knew. You've known all along. I knew Serafina was positioning herself. I didn't know she'd move this quickly. He stood beside me. The timing is convenient for me. The royals are in chaos. If I attack now, I could take the capital. And kill hundreds of innocent wolves in the process. Some sacrifices are necessary for lasting change. I turned to face him. Or we could work together. Unite our forces and take down the real enemy. The Shadow Court. He shook his head. They're too entrenched. Too powerful. So we're just supposed to keep dancing to their tune? Killing each other while they pull the strings? I stepped closer. You're afraid. His eyes flashed. Careful, daughter. You talk about building something new, but you're just perpetuating the same cycle. Revenge and war. I felt Luna stirring, lending me strength. My mother wouldn't have wanted this. She wouldn't have wanted you to become the thing you hate. For a long moment, he was silent. Then, what do you propose? Let me save Cale. Then we expose the Shadow Court together. Royals and rogues, united. And if your king won't agree to peace? He will. Because I'll make him. I took a deep breath. Father, I'm going to challenge you. For leadership of the rogues. He stared at me. You can't be serious. Ancient pack law. A silver wolf can challenge any alpha. You taught me that. I felt power gathering in my bones. Fight me. If you win, I'll submit and help you attack the capital. If I win, the rogues follow me. A slow smile spread across his scarred face. You have your mother's courage. And your father's foolishness. He nodded. Very well. We fight at dawn. The challenge was witnessed by the entire rogue pack. I stood in my human form facing my father's massive silver wolf. He was older, more experienced, scarred from countless battles. But I had something he didn't. I had a reason beyond revenge. We circled each other. He lunged first, testing my reflexes. I dodged, shifted, my own silver wolf emerging. We were nearly the same size, though he was broader through the shoulders. We clashed. It was brutal. He fought with the skill of decades, each move precise and deadly. I fought with raw power and desperate determination. He got his jaws around my throat. For a moment, I thought it was over. But Luna surged forward, our dominance rolling out in a wave that made even my father hesitate. In that heartbeat of hesitation, I twisted and threw him off. Slammed him into the ground. Pinned him with my superior weight, my teeth at his throat. Yield, I commanded through our wolf connection. He struggled. But my dominance was absolute. Slowly, fighting every instinct, he went limp beneath me. Submitted. I released him and shifted back. My father shifted too, breathing hard, blood on his lips. You win, he said. The rogues are yours. I helped him to his feet. No. We lead together. But we do it my way. He studied me for a long moment, then nodded. Your mother would be proud. Within hours, we were mobilizing. Every rogue warrior capable of fighting. Every pack member willing to march for a new future. Marcus coordinated with loyalist forces inside the capital. The plan was desperate and dangerous. But it was all we had. I stood at the head of an army of rogues and royals loyal to Kale, my silver wolf form leading the charge. Behind me marched hundreds of warriors who'd sworn to fight for change. The capital appeared on the horizon, smoke rising from several districts. Serafina's purge was already underway. We crashed through the outer defenses like a silver tide. The defenders scattered or joined us, most were only following Serafina out of fear. The main battle was at the palace itself. Shadow Court forces, corrupted wolves with red eyes and dark magic, held the gates. I tore through them. My dominance commanded them to stand down, to stop fighting. Some obeyed. Others resisted, their wills reinforced by shadow magic. Those, we fought. Inside the palace was chaos. Fires burned. Bodies lay scattered. Serafina had turned the seat of power into a war zone. I found Kale in the dungeons, chained to a wall with silver. He was barely conscious, the curse eating him alive. His skin was gray, his breathing shallow. Kale, I shifted and broke his chains with my bare hands, my silver wolf strength translating to my human form. Stay with me. His eyes opened slightly. Arya? No, dangerous, she'll kill you. Let her try. I gathered him in my arms. Through our bond, I pushed power into him. Healing. Life. The mate bond completing itself fully, not through manipulation but through choice. His color improved. The curse retreated, pushed back by the combined force of our bond and my silver bloodline. We need to move, Marcus appeared in the doorway. Then I saw his expression. Something was wrong. What? I'm sorry, Arya. His voice was flat. I really am. Serafina stepped into view behind him. And she was smiling. Did you really think, she purred, that we didn't plan for every contingency? That we didn't have someone close to you? Marcus? The betrayal cut deeper than any blade. He's been mine from the start, Serafina said. Your third rejection wasn't coincidence. It was orchestration. Breaking you down, making you desperate enough to accept any mate, even a cursed king. We needed you marked, needed the bond formed, so your power could be. She gestured. Marcus grabbed me from behind, pressing something cold and metal to my neck. A collar, inscribed with runes. Power drained out of me instantly. Luna's voice went silent. A silver collar, Serafina explained. Designed specifically to suppress a silver wolf. We've been working on it for years, waiting for you to emerge. She looked at Kale. Thank you for finding her for us. That was your role in this, Your Majesty. To be the bait that brought the silver wolf out of hiding. Your shadow court, Kale growled, trying to stand but too weak. Of course. And now, with Arya's power bound to me through this collar, I'll be the most powerful alpha alive. She laughed. Kill the king. Slowly. Let him watch as I take everything. Marcus raised his blade. But he'd forgotten something important. The collar suppressed my silver dominance. It didn't suppress 10 years of rage. I slammed my head back into his nose. Heard it crunch. Spun and drove my elbow into his throat. His blade clattered to the ground. I grabbed it. Arya, no. Seraphina's eyes widened. You made a mistake, I said softly. You assumed power was what made me dangerous. But you're wrong. It's not the silver that makes me a threat. I drove the blade through Marcus's heart. Felt him die through our old, broken bond. It's that I refuse to be a victim ever again. Seraphina shifted into her wolf form, a massive red gold beast. She lunged. I couldn't shift. Couldn't access Luna. But I'd been training for days. And I was done being helpless. We fought in human versus wolf. She had size and strength. I had speed and fury and 10 years of pain channeled into precision. I used her momentum against her. Used the collar's chain to choke her. Used Marcus's blade to open her throat when she finally faltered. She shifted back as she died, red hair spreading in the pooling blood. The court won't stop. She gasped. You've only made it worse. Then she was gone. I pulled the collar off. Luna roared back to life inside me, furious and triumphant. I went to Kale. Our bond pulsed strong and true. The curse was gone, burned away by our completed mate bond. Is it over? He asked. The battle. Not the war. My father found us minutes later. Together, we addressed the assembled packs, rogue and royal alike. The Shadow Court has been manipulating us, I told them. Keeping us divided, keeping us weak. But no more. Today, we unite. Rogues and royals, one kingdom, one people. It wasn't perfect. There was resistance, arguments, years of hatred to overcome. But it was a start. I stood beside Kale, not as his rescued mate, but as his equal. The Silver Queen to his king. My father knelt before us both. I pledged the rogue packs to this new order. Peace and unity. Slowly, others followed. 2 weeks later, I received a letter. It was delivered by a crow with red eyes. Inside was a single page written in elegant script. Congratulations on passing the first test. You've proven yourself worthy of our attention. Welcome to the real game. The Shadow Court. A chess piece fell from the envelope when I opened it. Silver, polished to gleaming. A queen. I looked at Kale, who'd read the letter over my shoulder. Our kingdom was healing. Reforms were underway. Rogues and royals were learning to coexist. But somewhere out there, in the shadows, a greater enemy was watching. The war isn't over, I said quietly. No, Kale agreed, his hand finding mine. It's just beginning. But this time, we'd face it together. United, strong, and ready. I was no longer the wolfless ugly duckling. No longer the rejected Omega. No longer the helpless victim. I was Arya Nightshade, Silver Queen. And the real game had only just begun. The end. Thank you for listening to this story. Like, share and subscribe for more.